Hello friends, Steve Stockton here with you. Welcome to our latest video. In today's episode, we're going to look at hikers who mysteriously vanished in Hawaii. Let's go walk and see. Now, when we think of people mysteriously vanishing, especially when they're hikers in the woods, we almost automatically think of some dark, deserted, and densely wooded place in the bowels of some national park or forest somewhere. Even when we think of gorgeous places where we know people vanished, where the woods are lush with trees, the views are scenic, and the atmosphere is serene, we don't really consider that these places are the exact spots where most of our hikers and campers, our missing in the woods in general, go missing. But in this video, we're discussing such a place where it is so incredibly beautiful to behold and peaceful to be near, but where hikers have gone mysteriously missing and seem to have vanished right off the face of the earth. More specifically, we are speaking of hikers who vanished in Hawaii. There's so little information on each of the following cases, it kind of makes a person wonder why the publicity is so light for people vanishing in this part of the world. First up, Joseph Wyatt. On Thursday, February 3rd, 2022, 23-year-old Joseph Wyatt left his home with his dog, Mana, to go on a short camping trip. He was never seen again. After not hearing anything from him for 2 whole days, his live-in girlfriend called the authorities and reported him as missing. Joseph and his dog were said to have been planning on camping out near Nakalele Point, which in Hawaiian means the leaning, is known for being dangerous when waves come crashing in, and it's a hot spot because people go there to experience and view its blowhole. His family had asked the public to keep their eyes out for him, and many volunteers helped in the search efforts along with the authorities, including the Maui Police and Fire Department. The official search only lasted a couple of days and then, for reasons unknown, was suddenly called off. Joseph's family created a Facebook page, and anyone with any information was asked to please call 808-244-6400. And for those wondering, Mana, the dog, was never found either. Next up, Simon Owen. Simon Owen had just completed his junior year at Texas Wesleyan University when he disappeared without a trace on June 6, 1994. Simon lived in Fort Worth, Texas, and was visiting Hawaii specifically to do some hiking. He was last seen near Manoa Falls, approximately 8.5 miles from Waikiki. Only his bicycle was found at the very bottom of the falls, but it was said he was also most likely carrying a maroon book bag with him, which was also never found. The local authorities searched extensively, and even billionaire Ross Perot got involved, donating funds and whatever else was needed to continue with the search. Despite all this, and also the help of dozens of volunteers, no trace of Simon was ever found. At the time of his disappearance, he was working in a restaurant in Waikiki in Hawaii. The police have maintained that foul play is not suspected in the disappearance and have given the alternate theory that perhaps Simon had accidentally fallen into some deep valley pocket where he would never be found or seen alive again. By all accounts, Simon Owen was simply taking some time off from his studies and trying to hike the beautiful and scenic areas of Hawaii's popular tourist and hiking spots. He didn't seem to have gone off the beaten trail, so what could have possibly happened to him? Simon was born October 9, 1972, and at the time of his disappearance, he was 22 years old. Now, in 2022, he would be 50 years old. He was 6 feet tall and weighed 155 pounds. Simon has brown hair, brown eyes, and a tattoo of what's described as an encircled fish on his right ankle, along with some scars on the back of his neck, his right hip, and his right shoulder. If you have any information on what may have happened to Simon Owen all those years ago, please contact the Honolulu Police Department at 808-529-3394. Next up, Moses Gardner. On Sunday, May 8, 2022, a 50-year-old man named Moses Gardner went missing while hiking in the Kokes near Miloli Ridge. Moses is a Loai resident, and there's absolutely no other information available on this case. This is why we're bringing these cases to you folks. Shouldn't there at least be a little bit more information available to the public about these random men, these hikers, who all seem to have vanished without a trace somewhere in Hawaii? Yet there's nothing but a paragraph each, 2 if we're lucky. And to us, that's a tragedy in and of itself. What's going on over there in the Aloha state? Aloha means both hello and goodbye, and it seems these people who have randomly disappeared experience both of these things. Anywhere else in the world, at least as far as what we've covered here, there's at least a few pages of information and more than one source. But here, there's nothing. And again, that's very concerning to us. Here's another hiker gone missing in this beautiful, scenic, almost paradise-like state. Thomas Lockhart. A 61-year-old California native named Thomas Lockhart went missing on May 1st, 2022, when at approximately 6:30 in the evening Hawaii time, he went out for a jog in the Pipawa Trails, which is located in the Haleakala National Park. He was last seen, though it's unknown by whom, before his jog where he was staying at the Kipahulu Valley Farm and was reported as missing by his family the next day, May 2nd, when he never returned and no one heard anything from him since he left. Search efforts started immediately and were suspended overnight, only to be continued the next day, Tuesday, May 3rd, but to no avail. His family traveled from California to Hana to help in the search for him and pleaded with the public to share any video they might have facing the road in Hana if they saw anyone who was matching Thomas's description. At the time of his disappearance, Thomas Lockhart is said to have weighed approximately 165 pounds and stood 6 feet tall. He had graying brown hair. Anyone with any information or any of the above-mentioned video evidence is asked to send it via email to the family at findtomlockhart@gmail.com, or you can call 325-261-3189. Next, Kyle Brittain. On August 30th, 2019, 27-year-old Kyle Brittain was visiting the forests of Waipio Valley in Hawaii. He told friends he was going to be hiking the Waipio Valley Z Trail, but that he wasn't going to be hiking the entire trail that day. Kyle had been hiking since he was a small child and was considered to be an experienced hiker by everyone who knew him. Waipio Valley is a valley located in the Hamakua district of the Big Island of Hawaii. Waipio means curved water in the Hawaiian language. The Z Trail, nicknamed because of the route's zigzag shape, climbs 1,200 feet to the top of a ridge before descending into the Waimanu Valley. The first 3/4 of a mile is very strenuous switchbacks, and near the top there's a lookout or the great view of the Waipio Valley. This is a trail that you absolutely should not attempt if you're a novice hiker. Once you reach the top of the ridge, it's another 8 miles of hiking through gorges and over hills to reach Waimanu Valley. Hikers are warned not to attempt to do this hike in a single day, as you need to cross 13 streams along the way. It is also not advised during the rainy season, where large amounts of mud and swollen streams make the trek even more dangerous. The descent into Waimanu can be extremely difficult and treacherous. Kyle's father, Stephen Brittain, explained that there was another hiker who came forward and claimed to have last seen his son near a bathroom at the Waipio Valley Overlook at around 6 p.m. the day he disappeared. Stephen said, he asked where the bathroom was and said, "Hey, have a good day." And that was the last time. After 24 days of extensive searches but no clues or leads, on September 22nd, 2019, Kyle's family made the heartbreaking decision to call off the search for him. His cell phone last pinged at the top of the Z Trail, and this was most likely a lucky break as cell phone service is extremely bad in that particular area of the Waipio Valley. Stephen Brittain said of his cell phone records, "Some of this data is open to interpretation, especially when only one cell phone tower is involved. No triangulation is possible with only one cell tower. There are degrees of reliability and probability involved. The farther you get from the one tower, the less reliable the data is." Kyle's brothers Kate and Sean were involved in helping to analyze the cell phone data, but it still led nowhere, and Kyle Brittain has never been seen or heard from again. At the time of his disappearance, he was said to be of a slim build with black hair, brown eyes, and fair skin. He stood 5 feet 10 inches tall, and on the day of his final hike, he was wearing a black backpack which had a T-Mobile logo on it. His car was recovered after it was found parked at the top of the Waipio lookout. There were no further clues or evidence in the vehicle, and this case remains open to this day. Next, Kiara Henry. On July 21st, 2019, the 23-year-old Kiara Henry went missing while taking a vacation in Maui for just a few days, though it's unknown what she was doing there specifically except taking a short trip. Another California native, Kiara was from San Diego and was in Hawaii staying at a hotel in Kihei for a brief vacation. She was last seen at a Hertz rental car company at approximately 2 p.m. on the 21st. The vehicle she rented was found 2 days later, July 23rd, in a gravel parking lot at Waianapanapa State Park. All of her luggage, her credit card, and her license were still in the car. Kiara's backpack, which she had with her when she was last seen, and the key to the car were missing and have never been found. After checking the mileage on the car, it seems as though she drove directly to the park where the vehicle was found from the Hertz location where she rented it. She's seen on CCTV footage at the rental company, but this is the last time anyone is known to have seen her alive. She never boarded her flight home on the 29th, and her family continues to make frequent trips to the island, despite there being no clues or leads as to what could have happened to this young woman who was always in touch with her family. They say they will never give up the search, and they know something is wrong because Kiara would never be out of touch for this long. Kiara is around 5'2" to 5'3" tall and is enrolled as a member of the Sakuan band of the CO.AG Nation. Kiara has brown hair and brown eyes and has both her ears and nose pierced, although she was not known to be wearing any of her nose jewelry at the time of her disappearance. On her upper right arm, she has a tattoo of sunflowers and praying hands above her right elbow. And finally, we have Jeffzultowski. 23-year-old Michigan resident and Wayne University student Jeffzultowski went missing on March 31, 1993, while hiking into Wailau Valley on Molokai in Hawaii. When his feet became blistered from walking so much during the hike, he managed to flag down a helicopter that belonged to the Department of Land and Natural Resources because he didn't feel as though he would be able to make it back home on his own. Unfortunately, according to the pilot, he did not see this as a, quote, life-threatening situation, unquote, and therefore made the demand that in order for him to help Jeffrey and fly him out of the area, the young man would have to cough up $600 right then and there. Obviously, Jeffrey was not carrying this kind of cash with him while on a hike and begged the pilot to help him. The pilot turned him away and left him there to fend for himself. The pilot did take Jeffrey's backpack for him, saying he figured it would help him get back easier than if he had to carry it with him. He took the pack to the DLNR service yard, where it was later recovered by authorities. Jeffzultowski was never seen or heard from again, and after his bag had been at the service yard for a whopping 41 days, he was finally reported by someone there as missing. There was a possible and alleged sighting of him when, in 2001, a homeless woman claimed to have seen Jeffrey several times panhandling near a homeless shelter in Honolulu. She described him as having heavy facial hair and facial scarring, walking with a limp, and having slurred speech. She claimed the man said his name was either Sam or Samuel, but none of this was ever able to be substantiated, and there's still no evidence to this day as to whether or not this man was indeed Jeffzultowski. His case remains unsolved, and his father has never given up searching for him. At the time of his disappearance, Jeff was 6 feet tall and weighed about 160 pounds. He is described as a Caucasian male with brown hair and brown eyes. On his right outer ankle bone, he has a birthmark which is about the size of a nickel or a quarter. He also has a scar underneath his right eye. It's possible he has some sort of facial hair like a mustache, beard, or goatee. He's left-handed and goes by the name Jeff. He had previously fractured his left hand and ankle. He was last officially seen wearing white shorts and a purple tie-dyed t-shirt. The information given by the woman in 2001 led some to believe that if the man was indeed Jeffzultowski, he most likely suffered some sort of head injury in the past and may be unaware of who he actually is. It was also claimed that he was seen asking vehicles stopped in traffic near that same homeless shelter by a Kmart and asking for change. There's no further evidence or clues as to Jeff's whereabouts, but his family continues to hope for his safe return. Well, folks, there you have it. What do you think of these strange missing cases from paradise? Literally. I look forward to your comments, but please keep it friendly and respectful. Till we meet again, be good to yourselves and each other. Stay safe if you're going out this summer or anytime. As for me, I'll see you a little further on down the trail. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'll talk to you next time.